Good morning, everybody. It is 8:25 a.m. It is April 4th. Market sold off a little bit, went up a little higher yesterday, sold off a little bit, but then basically had a little bit of a short squeeze yesterday, going up to the highs, closed at the highs. So market is still very bullish. Dips are being bought. Really can't say much more than that. Let's look at the watch list here. VIX is up 1.35. 10-year yields up 0.93. Bitcoin's up 0.81. Crude is up zero point 0.8. Silver's up 0.62. Russell's up 0.39. Nasdaq's up 0.37. ES up 0.31. Dow's up 0.16. Gold's basically flat. The dollar's basically flat. Bonds being sold. All right. Let's look at the stocks I like to trade. We got Coin is leading the pack here, up 1.24%. Tesla's up almost a percent, followed by Amazon. The only lagger is the Boeing. Boeing have just recently got a downgrade. That's why it's getting that happening. And then we top sectors here. Let's see here. So we got Chevron is leading the pack, followed by Roblox. All right. No really lagger to speak of. Let's go to sectors. Sectors we have leading is energy and discretionary and tech. No laggard to speak of. All right. So today, what we have here today is Jolt's jobs at 10 a.m. That's really like the thing we're looking at today is Jolt's jobs. We can get right into the daily chart. Let's talk about it. I made an update yesterday. I'm not sure who saw it, but levels were important that I was talking about. So let's get into it. Here's the SPY. Came up to the 410 level I talked about pre-market. Basically, that was resistance. It came up actually, came up earlier, sold off, came right back up to a close right at that resistance level. Okay. Currently, the SPY is at 412, so we're actually above, gapping up. We're gapping up right now. Okay. Next destination, most likely 417. Okay. 417 or 414, 415. Okay, 417 is the top of this range, and then you know what? I actually will throw here. I like that level right there. So 414.41, probably the next resistance, followed by 417. I'm actually put a alert there. So it's got an alert there now. Okay, so that's what happened in the SPY. Now, if you just look at what we've been doing here, is one time framing higher, which just means higher lows. So from this candle here, right off the 200-day moving average, right off this 393 level, it's just been gapped up, gapped up, just crazy, and just higher low, big move, went into the range a little bit, but then closed up here. So it's just definitely overbought. Definitely, you know, you can't just go shorting it wherever you want, right? So I mean, destination 414.41, 417. That's what I'm looking for. Might be looking at some type of ratio, credit spread, or some kind of butterfly or something like that up in this area. Not sure yet if I want to do that yet, but more than likely, if we get some push up to here, I probably will. So I'll let you guys know about that. Okay, so let's look at the cues. So the cues for 320 level I talked about, right? So went up there on Friday, tried to go back up there, but we closed towards the 320 level in the cues. Okay, I talked about this too. 330 levels our next destination after 320. I mean, let's go in here. Why? Right here, we got basically a double top here and a slick supply. You can see supply is right here. So that's why 320 has been sold, right? So 320, and then we have this area here. This was resistance, and it popped above it before, but it was a resistance again. So 330 is a big level. Okay. There's a gap here as well. I'm not sure if it was filled. No, it wasn't fully filled yet. So that's what I'm looking at in the Qs. Let's go to that Dow with that big level yesterday, right? So that 336 level is the bottom support of this huge range. Then it was resistance, resistance. And then yesterday came up, hit it, and we fell back actually around here, but then we closed towards the highs. The Dow right now, though, is actually over this level right now currently. It's above it. It's holding above it, gapping up. Okay? So let's keep that in mind. This is a big range to cut through. I don't think that's going to be easy, but I'm also looking at if we can't cut through, hold it, I will be targeting the 343 level. That's big resistance. Okay? Big levels in the Dow with this range. So those are levels I am looking at. Let's just set an alert here. I probably already have one, but just to be safe, let's set an alert. Okay. And yesterday we did close and hold above the 61.8. So pretty much when you close over the 61.8, that means that this down move has been taken back. So I'm going to get rid of that Fibonacci now. Okay. So, and let's go to the Russell. So the Russell's the weaker of the bunch, and yesterday we hit the 38.2% Fibonacci level, right? You got the 200-day moving average right here, key level 181, 100-day moving average, 50-day moving average, right? But we have a trend line coming around 183. We have the 50% Fibonacci of 183. I did put that butterfly I talked about on yesterday. Didn't get the best trading location. However, right now we are close to the highs of yesterday. Okay, so I'm hoping to get a push. I really want to make these sellers here have to cover their shorts. So I'm hoping to get a push right into here, this area with that butterfly. It expires on Thursday because Good Friday is on Friday. There's no trading. So that's what I'm looking at there. Right now, the Russell is the stronger out of the indexes. So hoping to get that push because it's been the laggard. So I'm hoping to get that real push up into here. So, all right, let's look at a triple headed. All right, so yields have fallen off a little bit. We're at 3.4 right now. Okay, so we got that 3.4 support here. Have to watch yields. Let's look at the VIX. VIX is kind of holding the support at 1823. Okay. We break this, then you should get farther movement down. On the dollar, Doji land, this is just crazy. All these Dojis and wicks. The dollar is down to 102 though. And we have the support here at 101, so I have to really see what the dollar's going to do. That's yet to be seen. Okay, let's get over to the market profile, volume profile, really map out a game plan for today. All right, so this is the yes. Now, anytime I know just a little key for when I'm doing my supply and demand zones, I have about like 16 demand zones. We've been just getting bought up like crazy. Getting really bought up like crazy. There's demand zone after demand after demand zone, and they're not getting taken out. So I know eventually we're going to get some type of correction, some type of pullback. When that happens, who knows? Okay. So let me get my marker out. All right, let's look at some levels here. Let's get a game plan going. Okay, so we are gapping up. We did hit supply. There's a supply zone right here. So we hit supply, finding some sellers. Okay, we have some single prints right here. So we're gapping up, right? So we have yesterday's low, yesterday's high, overnight high, overnight low. Okay, so everybody who watches me, whenever we have a gap, there's gap rules, right? And how we judge where the strength is. Okay, so let's go to that really quickly. So we're gapping up. Um, so we do have some volume building out here, right? But we have this little weak single prints here. That's that toothpick holding up an elephant. Okay, that's not a lot of volume there. So it's susceptible to coming back down and testing this area. Okay, but we'll look at it first in as far as the gap. All right, so here's the gap fill right here. Okay, so that's our line. So most bullish. Now, full transparency, I am not interested in any longs up here. Okay, we're in supply. We've been very overbought. The risk to reward doesn't make sense. So we definitely, first gapping up. Can we gap and go? Right, that's the most bullish. Second is pulling down, pull back, don't fill the gap, go higher. That's the second most bullish. Thirdly, we fill the gap and then push up, go higher. That's the third bullish scenario, which is the least bullish. Well, out of these three. So out of those three, right? So if we, and this all shows strength in buying, right? But if we fill the gap and start going back into the range of yesterday, okay, that is where, um, the sellers kind of take control, okay, and you can see the buying will be weaker, right? And we have a demand zone here, but you notice there's a lot of volume here. So what that tells me is we have a lot of longs here overnight. A lot. I mean, that's the most volume is down here. All right, so this overnight low is very key, and it has like a very, very a lot of support there. So let's look at that, and we'll expand it. Okay, so let's just look at that because there's a support here. Okay, look at that support. These are 30-minute bars. Okay, so now you can clearly see the single prints I talked about right here. Those are those white boxes. Okay, that's that's thin volume. That's thin volume. Okay, so right here we could easily cut through them. Okay, but now what I'm talking about is this support right here. So that's why this overnight levels are very important. And that's why it's beautiful to see the market profile, because we know we have the most volume traded overnight here, which corresponds with all these buyers. Okay, so this is, again, we got our plan. We have our level. Okay, we have our level. It's the overnight low. All right, so this is a big decision maker here. Okay, so we can construct our plan from here. All right, we can construct our plan from here. So very easy to do. Okay, let's do this. So before I draw, let's get this supply zone up here. Let's get the full range up here. Okay, make this a little smaller. Bear with me. Okay, so first thing is, if we gap and go, okay, that's bullish, right? However, it would be a gap and go right into a supply. All right, so if you are a short trader, you think you want to take advantage of this exuberant buying, you want to see a push up, and then you want to see weakness in the market, start making lower highs, and then you can target the short, right? And then what's going to happen here is, you're going to get all these longs, from yesterday. Remember, everybody's long from down here, this low. So you got the lows were bought in the ES, and it's just been higher. We closed at the highs, and the overnight continued this move and gapped higher. So there's just a lot of buying. Okay, so this short is a pretty nice one if you get some lower highs, right? And you short it, right? And what's going to happen is you have this single prince. That's the toothpick holding up an elephant here. You cut right through that. Okay, and that almost lines up perfectly with the gap fill. That's your first take profit. And then you target this demand zone. Okay, target the demand zone. This could get a pop out of it, but if you stick with it, you think we're going to get some weakness, you hold to the overnight low, right? And then if you still have one on, you target the most traded price of yesterday, which also happens to be the POC, the prominent POC of yesterday. So that's the short from the supply. Okay, if you want to be more conservative short, you want to wait for this low to be taken out, the overnight low. You wait for that. You don't short from up here. You wait for it to break and hold, hold, and you see if weakness in the market, then you take the target. You target this most traded price of yesterday. Okay, that would be 41.40. I really like this setup. We have a lot of buying, multiple days in a row. Okay, really looking at this overnight low. Okay, now of course we're in a bullish market, right? So bullish case. Okay, so of course we can come up. We could even, like I said, we could even fill the gap. So the number one thing is fill in the gap. So if you really want to be a little more aggressive, you could wait for the gap fill and then you can buy it. All right, I'm not really crazy about that setup. Okay, what I really like to see for me, most high probability, is to see this come down in this demand. Even if we break this, right, what that would do is be kind of like a stop hunt here. But then if it really quickly came back up, made a higher low, then I want to go long. Even target yesterday's high and then go up to this naked VPOC up here and in supply. Alright, so I'm playing off this overnight low in this demand zone. I really want to see, this is going to make my decisions for today. Okay. Now, here's the other long, right? Say you don't want to take a long there. Let's say we break this demand. We start to come down here. We come down here and we start testing yesterday's most traded price, but we come into demand again, right? And let's say we can't go lower. Well, that's your long. You probably target developing POC of the day. Okay. So those are the long setups. Now to look at the long-term view of why, right? Let's look at where the most traded price is of the week. It's all the way down. However, let's see. I'm just going to show you on the other chart here just to give you. So the most traded price of the week in the RTH session is around 40.41. So all the way down here. But you can see the volume up here is almost there. So I believe this should shift today to up here to about 41.40. Okay, so keep that in mind. So 41.40 right here. Okay, if this holds, this level is very key, 41.40. If it holds, you can also get long here. If this doesn't hold, this demand doesn't hold, well, we can fall. Now I don't know how much we fall. I don't think so. There's so many demand zones here. Okay, but that's key. 41.40 is for me. That might be a little bit of, okay, we're gonna get a pullback here if we break 41.40. Okay. All right. Let's change this back to a profile. All right. So we got our plan, right? Overnight low. 41.40. I really like those. All right, let's go to the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ, what do we have going? Right? So NASDAQ gapping up as well. We have single prints as well right here. Okay, so we got the gap up. We already know. Gap and go, bullish. Pull back, don't fill the gap, go higher, bullish. Fill the gap, go higher, bullish, right? But if we come back into range, we know we got a little weakness. Okay, so we got the overnight high here, overnight low here. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Now, we have a weak low here now. Okay, there's a weak low. So let me show you guys that. That's right here with the most traded price, and it's beautiful now because now we have something in sync with the ES. So the overnight low in the NASDAQ and the overnight low in the ES line up with yesterday's most traded price of the NASDAQ. And we have a demand zone here. So similar, we got a in sync setup. Okay. Now we do have supply overhead. That starts about 134 up here. We have a supply zone ahead. So we really have to see here. But should be a nice trade. Of course, let's talk about the short. Same thing. It's going to be similar. We got an in sync setup here. So if we get a gap and go. I don't know if we hit the supply, but I'm going to wait for a short up here. Right? Hit that supply, get some weakness. You can short that. Right? You can short that target yesterday's high. Right? Then you got demand. You could take it off here or wait till it hits the overnight low right here. Right? Same thing as the ES. ES's supply we're in it though. That's the only thing. ES, we have to see. However, this is very key here because this is the most traded price of yesterday right here. Okay. Again, we have overnight volume right here. I like the ES setup better, I should say. Okay. But this is our marker right here, overnight low. That's around 132.28. Okay, in the NASDAQ. So now you don't have to take the short up here if you don't want to. Okay, but you definitely can take a short here if we break through this. It's common sense, okay? Everybody's long from down here, the lows. From the lows, everyone's long. So you got longs all the way from here all the way up to here that had some profit taking now. Now it's starting to get some selling. Look, we might cut through these single prints now. So we might not even have a gap, by the way, but it doesn't matter. This is still the area I want to concentrate in. So if you wait for the price to come down and really wait and see if there's some weakness, because you're going to get if there's some volume and weakness and this demand zone can't hold, you're going to get a push right down to this demand. All right. Think of how many longs have not got hurt, right? So that's the short, okay? Now the long, of course, I don't want to be long all up in here. That's horrible trade location, right? However, if this holds, right, say this area holds, if the market does come down here, even if we boop and we come right back up, higher low, then you got to go target overnight high, then target supply. Okay, because this is very crucial level here. Okay, if you hold it, then all shorts from up here, then they're gonna give you liquidity to go higher. Okay, and still the most traded price in the Nasdaq is all the way down here of the week, right? About 129.08. However, this price right up here of 132.28 probably will change that today. It will probably move up here. So this is really key. Okay, this is a really key area. All right, you want this to hold. We break this demand now would be underneath that big level. So, right, and you got some big volume here. So remember, buyers are still in control, but this could be an area too. I would say I wouldn't like this as much if you fall down to this demand, because now would be under a big level, and that would be hard to cut through again. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but I wouldn't be as crazy as my long down here, because then you have this big wall to deal with. So I really would like this to hold for my long. So really below this level, I'm short. Right above this level and holding it, we want to be long. All right. Let's look at crude real quick, because crude had that huge gap up. Established new value higher now, up about a key resistance area around 81.68. There's not much. I mean, crude's just establishing volume value up here. So it is gapping up slightly. It is almost like 90% net long. However, I don't see a lot of edge yet. I mean, I'd want to pull back into this demand. Crude, I usually love trading it, but this is just, it made such a huge move that the market needs to digest that move. Okay, market needs to digest that move. So that's what I have for today. Hope that made sense. Just to review, what are we looking for in the ES? Overnight low. Now the overnight low here in that ES, like I said, around 41.48. Okay, that's the key level you want to look at, and it doesn't match up with yesterday's like it does in the Nasdaq. I apologize for that. So, but that's the level. Okay, that's the key level that we have to defend for a bull. We break, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get a nice short down to here. Okay, and then in here you have a weaker low, because it's the most traded price matches up with the overnight low, and you break this, you're most likely going down this demand. We hold this, we're most likely going higher. Okay, so that will be it for me today. Give me a comment, like, or subscribe. Hopefully, these plans make sense. Um, it really makes trading a lot easier, because then you just wait for your levels to get hit and then react. Right? In trading in the beginning, every kind of big green or red candle that I would chase it, I'd feel like I missed it. Instead of really just sticking to a plan, putting the odds in your favor, treating trading like you're the casino, right? Put the odds in your favor, because only take the setups that you have success with. Put the same risk out each time, so you know that you can control your risk. That's the key to this game, right? It's not about getting excited every time a green candle or a red candle. I used to do that. Price can fool you. You know, like, I am not interested in a long at the highs. That just doesn't interest me. It's a poor trade location, right? In the past, I might have just long because I feel like I'm missing out. You know, so really wait for your setups. Um, it's pretty crazy what patience can do and discipline. So that's about it for me, guys. So I will do an update later. I don't know if any of you guys caught my update yesterday. If I see something, if I why I'm not trading, or what I see the opportunity, or key levels, or whatever that we talked about. So um, that's about it for me. All right. Good luck to everybody. Stay green.